Hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Ray Bradbury. Here on Let's Talk Ray Bradbury, going all the way back to 2018, I've been aspiring to read and review each of the roughly 600 short stories written by the great Ray Bradbury. So far, we've reviewed 235 here, and we're moving on with another story from the Cat's Pajamas story. We have just 4 more stories left in this collection from 2004. Today's story is A Matter of Taste, written way back in 1952. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to the show, the way this works is I do a brief synopsis of what happens in the story, all the plot, characters, and all the events, and then I sort of wrap it up with some thoughts and feelings, just a brief analysis of what it all means. Is it a good story? What did I take away from the endeavor? All right, so a creature sees a silver ship land on its world. The creature, we soon learn, is a 7-foot tall intelligent spider. Its race long ago decided not to travel the stars. It did away with violence, became a peaceful race, and it's been living here in peace for over 100,000 years. The creature comes down to the ship to meet the passengers, and we learn then that the passengers are in fact humans from Earth. The first human from the ship, walks out and immediately passes out, frothing at the mouth, obviously stricken by fear. But later, as the days come and go, humans venture out, and using a combination of telepathy on the part of the spiders and mechanical devices on the part of the humans, they learn to communicate. And the spider shows the humans its lovely world. But all the while, it can feel the inner thoughts of the humans. The humans are petrified, especially when they look at them in the eye, so they try to avoid eye contact. And the humans even, the spider learns, know in their hearts that these spiders mean no harm to them, that they would allow them to come here and colonize their world and to mine it and to live here and to take its resources and live in harmony, because they are not dangerous. However, in their hearts, they just cannot shake their disgust, and they sort of imagine bringing their families here and their women swooning at the sight of these giant monsters. So as time goes on, the spider listens to more of the humans' thoughts, and in the end, one of the last thoughts that it has is this image from one of the humans' minds of back on Earth. The man being with his wife and children and deciding that there's only one thing to do, and they squash a spider on their floor because they cannot get away from their disgust. In their born, innate, deep cultural dislike of things like spiders. So, today this is the type of story that many would probably label woke, but I think that is probably the type of morality story that is needed all the more in today's society. It's the type of story that needs to be taught in schools. It's a way that we learn to be tolerant and to have empathy and to see from beyond ourselves about these issues. Bradbury was written in 1952, so it's obvious that not much has really changed in our world. But it's not just a racial story. It's about our deep-seated cultural views that are hard to shake from going back to times before that we can even measure. Our fears of things like snakes and spiders that seem to be pretty consistent across most cultures, where we feel disgust and certain things that we just cannot find beautiful, and we find it difficult to shake those problems even when we have the technology to know that we shouldn't be fearful. While this is a pretty obvious message, I think it works quite well in its sci-fi trappings. This is what sci-fi does in some of its best instances, is that it conveys these sort of moral stories, these human truths, but does it in a package that is more palatable and less preachy than it might be in some other situations. It's well written, it's disarming, it's got that breezy, easy, deceptively simple Bradbury prose style that everyone loves but can't really replicate because he was so deceptively good at it. And for me, it's a pretty decent story. I'm going to be thinking about this one for the rest of the day, no doubt. And I think that you would too, should you choose to read A Matter of Taste from 1952, which is the 4th story from the end in 2004's collection, The Cat's Pajamas story. All right, we'll be back next time with another story, I Get the Blues When It Rains, a remembrance. which is just the third story from the end in this collection. So be sure to tune in probably tomorrow to find out what that story is all about. And in the meantime, go find yourself a great Bradbury story to curl up with on a cold winter day like this. See you later.